Yeah, and I'll get the slides. I'll get the slides pulled up.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm Darren Wade. I'm the Associate Director of Career Development in the Office of the Dean, Student and Academic Services. I'm here with my colleagues, Dan Poux and Dana Faye Matusalem, who are going to introduce themselves after I introduce the workshop. We're happy that you're here to talk or to learn more about tapping into your network and finding opportunities, which is a part of a SPH career series that's brought to you by members of our School of Public Health career group. And we try to do school-wide events so that we can connect you to the information you need to find opportunities, to be successful in internship or job search, or even just to do some career exploration. So look for more events over the course of the year. I want the next slide. I want to start with a land acknowledgement to read that for you. The UW School of Public Health acknowledges the land we occupy today as the traditional home of the Tulalip, Muckleshoot, Duwamish, and Suquamish tribal nations. Without them, we would not have access to this working, teaching, and learning environment. We humbly take the opportunity to thank the original caretakers of this land who are still here. If you'd like to read more about the commitment to diversity of school public health, please visit the link. Next slide. As I did introduce myself, I go by he, him pronouns, and I'm the Associate Director of the Career Development and part of the SPH career team. And there's one other member, and it's Haley Burdos, who is here in the room, and she's a first-year MPH student. SPH Career Services, what do we offer? We have a website. You can go to the SPH School of Public Health website, and then when you look under the tab for students, we're the first link that appears, and we have a comprehensive website that lists all kinds of job boards, information on opportunities, links to public health career networking resources, as well as exploration resources around the field of public health. And also a link to make an appointment with me. We participate in collaborative events, workshops, and panels, including April. We'll have a big SPH Career Month coming up, and where we focus a lot on careers in public health. And we have a big career fair that we do virtually on Handshake, where we invite public health organizations to come and talk to you either one-on-one or do group presentations. Like I said, we do one-on-one appointments through Calendly. You can go in there on the SPH Career website and make an appointment. And then we also manage a SPH mentoring program. So if you're interested in being a mentor, the deadline is tomorrow to turn in an application. And we'll be sending out information if you want to be a student that has a mentor. It's a graduate to student to undergraduate mentorship program. And we're located downstairs in the Office of the Dean, HRC room G123B. All right, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Dan.
Thanks, Darren. My name is Dan Poux. My pronouns are he and him. And my job is the Manager of Experiential Learning and Career Services for the Department of Environmental and Occupational Health Sciences, which is a small department here within the School of Public Health. I've been working at UW for about 8 years. And my fun fact, even though I didn't go to UW, I wear UW clothes all the time. I'm wearing a UW shirt right now, which is kind of my uniform. It's how I make getting dressed for work really easy. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my program, specifically about our undergraduate degree, as well as opportunities to think about graduate degrees in environmental health, if it sounds like something that you want to explore further. We really like to summarize the work that we do around a couple of core themes: safe food, safe workplaces, clean air, clean water, sustainable communities. And you can see that those kind of correspond with these various career paths that you see laid out on the screen. A lot of our students are studying the impact of the environment on the health of population, so environmental public health. We also have students in our program who are really focused on workplace safety, whether that be in a factory or in a farm. And those folks are focusing on occupational health and safety. A lot of students are also getting into work focusing on sustainability, and helping build resilient communities in the face of climate change. And we also have a lot of students in our program who are interested in careers in medicine or in dentistry. And in fact, we put together a short video for students on how to prepare for a career in the health profession while doing our Bachelor of Science degree as an undergrad. So if any of these programs sound interesting to you, you can see that there's been some courses that are for each of these buckets, each of these career pathways that you could try out. And you can also click the QR code on the screen to meet with our undergraduate and graduate prospective student advisor, my colleague Janet Hang. And I'll turn it over to Dana Fay.
Thanks, Dan. Hi, everyone. My name is Dana Fay Matusalam. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the advisor and career development coordinator for the Public Health Global Health major in the School of Public Health. And fun fact about me is that I am actually an alumna of the PhDH major, class of 2018. I pursued the BA pathway and a minor in diversity. And it's really nice to meet you all and to also work with Dan and Darren. I'm learning a lot from them. So yeah, thank you. Next slide, please. So a little bit about the major. Also, there's a link. Thank you, Haley, for sharing the link to our About page. So the vision that we have for our major, it's a collaborative community of educators preparing innovative, diverse students to promote the health and well-being of communities locally, nationally, and globally. Our major has two degree pathways. It's an interdisciplinary major, one to Bachelor of Arts or one to Bachelor of Science. And like environmental public health, a lot of our students either go into pre-med or pre-health, or they go explore avenues in social work, or health promotion, health education, or health administration, amongst others. So it's a very interdisciplinary major that leads to a lot of different career pathways. And I also want to highlight our values for the major, which some of them are access, challenge, collaboration, community, and equity, as well as personal and professional development. And I want to highlight these values of our major to kind of prime you into thinking how that matches with your values and how those values matches with the programs that you're currently in the School of Public Health, and helps you to think about the values that you would like to share and connecting with others when networking, as well as reflecting on them when you're finding opportunities.
So let's take a quick look back at that poll just for a minute to get a sense of where people's heads are at when we talk about networking. One thing, Darren, I don't know about you and Dana Fay, one thing that I was struck by is there's a lot of really positive terminology in here, which is great because I think we want people to be having a positive approach to networking. There's also a couple of things in here that aren't so great. You know, someone had said difficult, and I think we're going to talk more about that certainly today. Somebody else said nepotism, which I thought was an interesting word to include, but certainly I think for a lot of people, there's a fear that networking is really all about gatekeeping. And, you know, it is literally about who you know, but the implication there is that if you don't know anybody, you're sort of out of the loop or out of power. And so I think some of the things that we're going to talk about today are going to address that concern. Anything else jumping out at either of you?
Yeah, I really like the word relationships. I think that's what it's more about, and connecting to those relationships that you currently have and building new ones. And I think as well as the more you build those relationships, the more you're going to have, you're going to be more informed about what it is that's out there, as well as you're going to be more informed about like what it is that's motivating you to be in public health.
Dana Fay?
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Dan. And Darren, I agree with both of you with your observations, and also seeing the word mutual there in the word cloud too. Thinking of networking as like a mutual interaction, right? It's not just a benefit for the one who's looking to network, but also for the other person who's giving that advice and giving that opportunity of connection as well.
Great. I'll go back to our slide then. Give me one sec.
Thank you. And I saw words like pressure as well. And what we're hoping to talk to you today is a way to do it in a way that doesn't feel like a lot of pressure, like that feels like very natural, and you don't need anything more than yourself in this whole equation.
So just a quick overview of what we hope to talk about today. We're already really talking about the approach to networking and how that can really determine how successful you are, how effective you are. Darren's going to give us some insights in a little bit about how to put together your professional summary or your elevator speech. We're going to take a quick look at a couple of different networking platforms, Handshake, Husky Landing, and LinkedIn, and then we'll leave lots of time at the end to talk more about other ways to expand your network, as well as plenty of time for questions.
Okay.
Excuse me. The handout that we're going to be referring to for the first part of the workshop is a resource from the UW Career Center. It's a two-pager. One side says networking, the other side says informational interviewing. The QR code will take you there. There's also probably a link in the chat that will get you to this handout. It's great. It's got a lot of great resources on how to get started, a couple of which we're going to touch on here over the next couple of minutes. But I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Dana Fay, to talk more about what networking really is all about.
Thanks, Dan. So networking is a lifelong activity and rewarding in that sense, about building a relationship with others, and sharing experiences and opportunities with each other, and to gain information in that way. You can use networking as a way to seek or give advice, learn more about a profession, industry, or company, meet like-minded individuals, and learn about new opportunities, and also gain referrals.
One of the reasons why networking is so important, I think, really has to do with the mismatch between how organizations, companies, and agencies look to fill positions, which is in that on that green arrow that you see on the left side of that pyramid graphic, as compared to how people tend to look for jobs, which is oftentimes that we just look at jobs that are on job boards or on job search engines, and we kind of let those things come to us. If you realize that that's really the last step in a multi-step process that organizations have gone through to try to fill a position where they've tried to activate all of their professional networks before turning to recruiters, before turning to job boards, then you really need to think about how you're accessing all of these other opportunities that are out there that aren't showing up on these boards. There are a lot of compelling reasons why organizations wouldn't post a job, at least right away, on a job board. Some of them are listed on the right. But it's really just about the path of least resistance for a lot of them. What's going to be the easiest way? What's going to be the cheapest way? What's going to be the fastest way for them to get this position filled? And oftentimes it's not posting the job on a job board and then being inundated by applications. So if the only way that you're looking for opportunities is by looking on job boards, then you're only really seeing the tip of this iceberg. And a lot of people refer to all of these other opportunities that are out there as the hidden job market. And I don't want to make it sound like someone is actively hiding it from you, because again, that kind of contributes to the gatekeeping aspects of some of the students' concerns about networking. But it's just really about making sure that that's not the only approach that you're using. So I always encourage students to take kind of a cross-training approach to their job applications, where they're combining networking with applying for things and then going back to networking and letting that inform future applications. Dana Fay?
Thanks, Dan. So this figure shows like different parts of the network that you already have, like your friends and your family, your colleagues here at UW, or other parts of your experience working or volunteering, doing internships or fellowships. Also your faculty and professors here, your teaching instructors, your TAs, your RAs, and also different parts of your community, such as your faith communities, or like emotional support communities, other like employers and your classmates, etc. So this is a good kind of way to like kind of place who can you start reaching out to in your circle.
So I wanted you to take a moment and just, if you have in your notes on your laptop, or just even just not having to write things down, but maybe use this as an exercise for later after the workshop sometime. If you want to just brainstorm a list of people from those groups that Dana Fay just mentioned. Think about all the people you already know who are in your network who would be willing to help you, people who are connected to other people, people who have connections to other organizations, some organizations that you might want to work with, or working with questions that you have, or communities in which you'd like to work. And write down all those folks that you already know. And that's sort of like right now you have your already built-in network. So it's not like you have to start from scratch. You already have a group of people just by being here at the University of Washington who are here to help you make that next step. And then I want you to think about how you'd like to expand your network. And that would be thinking about, okay, these are places where I don't yet know people. These are organizations where I don't yet know where folks are, or I'm interested in a different area of public health, but I haven't taken a class in that yet, or I haven't really talked to anybody who does that kind of work. Write down those folks too, and think, and it'll help you build like a strategy of like, if you're going to meet with people, you're gonna have a strategy about what is it you're looking for? What are connections that you're looking for to help you strengthen the group of people who might be able to help you get the kind of opportunities you're looking for.
And to add to what that exercise and what Darren was saying, in addition, like additional networking advice is to reach outside of your industry, outside of your initial circle, or in your major, and to like broaden your opportunities that way. It's also great to ask open-ended questions that can lead into even more questions, and then finding more of those shared interests and transferable skills that you can build upon. And before networking, you want to also do some research, right? Get prepared and know who you want to talk to and what topics you want to discuss. Always be open and listen to what your networking contact is saying, and reflect on that as well. And it's always great to follow up because it shows an interest in an ongoing relationship.
I think a lot of students are concerned or kind of nervous about what are we going to talk about in this career conversation? What are we going to talk about in this informational interview? I think just having the word interview in the name sometimes contributes to some of the anxiety around this. And so this handout has a great list of sample questions that you can ask. I always encourage students to ask questions that you couldn't have found the answers to through an internet search. Those aren't a good use of this person's time, as well as anything that you're really interested in knowing about their industry or about where they work or about the kinds of career choices that they've made along the way. So for example, I know a lot of people in the audience are probably either considering getting a graduate degree after their undergraduate degree, or maybe they're already in a graduate program. And a great thing to ask people about is, did you get a graduate degree after your undergrad degree? If so, did you go right away? Or did you wait a couple of years? And if you waited a couple of years, what did you do during that time? And how did that help influence your choice of a graduate degree? And the good news is a lot of that information can be found through a quick perusal of somebody's LinkedIn profile. And you can start to put the pieces together and think about the kinds of really thoughtful, well-researched questions that you can ask. That's very important because the last question that you want to ask every person that you talk to in this way is, who else should I talk to? Who else in your network do you think would be helpful for me to talk to? And the better job you've done at showing them how thoughtful you are going to be in terms of making the best use of this person's time, that's really going to influence how they'll help put you in touch with other people. So you just want to reassure them that you're going to do your homework and that you're going to make a good use of these people's time. And that's really how you grow your network over time. You ask this person for 3 names of their colleagues, and then you meet with those 3 people. And ideally, you ask each one of them for 3 names of their colleagues, and so on over time. That's how this can begin to really become a real web, a real network that you can rely upon when you need to.
And Dan, can I add something?
Please.
Thank you. That was great. I was thinking as well when I talk to students about talking to a faculty member they've never met before, or somebody who they aspire to work with. It's always good to, when you're looking at their profile or looking at their faculty page, to look at some of the work that they've done and read a little bit about it. So you know a little bit about the kinds of work that you connect to, that inspires you. And it could be another point of conversation that'll be meaningful for them, but because they find their work very important and they want to share that, they come to the university to be able to continue to study that, but they also it's something that would also provide you with some really useful and meaningful information for your own career development. Okay. So how do you make this introduction, which we call an elevator pitch? And that's just a general terminology just to describe the phenomena. What we're really thinking about is a short introduction, and where it came from is like thinking about riding an elevator. You only have 30 to 90 seconds to be able to introduce yourself to somebody there. What would you say? How would you say it to get your point across about exactly what you're looking for? An elevator pitch is always, I think it takes into consideration the context of the situation. Like, are you in a reception where you're talking about where you've gone to an event within your department? Are you talking to somebody that somebody introduced you to online through an email connection through a faculty member? Is it about a job? Is it about, are you looking for a job? Are you looking for an internship? Or are you just looking to explore a different part of the field, or talk to somebody about the exciting work they're doing? This is a way you have to think about the context in which you're planning to the kinds of way you want to, how you want to shape your elevator pitch has a lot to do with what your end goal is for that particular situation. So it should be a short, meaningful, and personalized way of introducing yourself that helps start a conversation with someone and that can help build your professional network. So I like to break it down and kind of like who, like explain who you introduce yourself as you would normally. Put yourself in context. I'm a student working in, or I'm a student in the MPH program, and I'm currently interested in, or I'm looking for, or I'm considering. So for example, hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm currently a student in the epidemiology program working on my master's in public health. I'm currently interested in maternal and child health, and I'm looking for a thesis project where I can explore more, work and focus on preeclampsia or on maternal health outcomes. And then just stop there and see what the person has to say. Or, hi, um, I'm Victor, and I'm a student in the public health global health major, and I'm in my junior year, and I'm currently looking for an internship where I can gain more experience working with communities in Seattle around vaccine research or to vaccine education or access. And I wondered if you might know something about that. So that's pretty much how you can structure your introduction. It's really short. If you're in particular looking for a job, I would say add the next part onto this description, which be to identify the type of organization you're looking for, what roles you might want to play, and doing what. So it's the difference between saying, hi, my name is Darren. I am a student. I'm a graduating senior in public health and nutrition, and I'm currently looking for a job in public health. That's one way you could say it. Or you can say and see, and how the difference in the tone of this. You could say, hi, my name is Darren. I'm currently a graduating senior in public health nutrition, and I'm looking for a job in a small nonprofit organization that focuses on food security, where I could play an administrative or advocacy role, working with campaigns to talk about access to nutritional food in urban areas. All of that the second part of that introduction provides a lot of information for that person you're talking to grab onto to send you into to connect you back to other people or to start a conversation. So it's information that helps them help you, and also is meaningful for you because you've done the work prior to that experience, thinking about through these things so that you know what you're looking for, and it helps that person help you in a lot quicker way. And then you want to follow up with questions and continue the conversation and follow up where it goes, and then talking in that career conversation at the reception, or maybe making a follow-up appointment with that person. You can use the list of questions that Dan just shared, including asking them for for information for other people. Next slide. And preparing, I said this would be good, is to practice writing it down, write down some of the things you're looking for that you'd like, eliminate, don't make it verbose, use that formula I kind of give you. You can make it sound natural, like practice in some ways, just saying the words out loud, hearing yourself say these things. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to introduce yourself. You know who you are, and you want to interject into the conversation some words that draw in the kinds of content or the kinds of connections that you're looking for. And so, like when I brought up that working for a food security program, somebody said, "Oh, I have a friend Jeff, and he works at the food bank," or "I have a friend Karen, and she works over here in this large international nonprofit organization, and she has this," and you start talking to people like that because they've given you the kinds of things you're looking for, rather than general things where you're like, "Oh, no, I'm not interested in that." One point of advice I have, if anybody gives you anything, is to thank them. Just thank them person. If it's like, oh, my friend Kevin works at Seattle King County Public Health, and you're like, "Oh, I work there and I don't want to work there again." You can just say thank you, thank you, and take that, and you can follow up on it or not. But I would say just make sure that you go through the process of preparing this and just thinking through it, and so you be comfortable with what you're looking for. And I think the more you do this kind of thoughtful consideration of what it is and the kinds of things that motivate you, and the more meetings you have, the more it's going to be shaped in a more clear way.
So we're going to shift gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about 3 different platforms where you can go to begin to build your network online. That's in addition to all of the places that Darren and Dana Fay and I have been talking about, where you're making those kind of connections in real life. One thing I think to keep in mind is that different platforms attract different kinds of people, and so you should think about who you want to be networking with. And again, this really gets back to what do you want to know, and where do you want to explore, and what kinds of information are you looking for. So we'll talk about 3 different platforms. Handshake is a platform that I'm going to talk about. Darren's going to share with us some tips and tricks for using a platform called Husky Landing. And then Dana Fay is going to talk more about taking your LinkedIn profile to the next level. So I'll start with Handshake. Handshake is a platform that is used by universities and their career centers across the country. There's more than 1,100 universities who use the Handshake platform. And so you can imagine that it's primarily geared towards publicizing internships, publicizing jobs that are primarily geared towards entry-level fresh college graduates. And then as far as networking goes on this platform, you can imagine it's current undergraduate students and graduate students and recent alumni who are primarily using this particular platform for networking. And for a lot of students, that's helpful because networking is very scary, and it helps to be networking with people who maybe are at the same level as you, maybe at the same education stage or the same career development stage, rather than trying to network with people who've been working for a long time. So maybe if you want to think about it that way, you can sort of work up to that by starting out by networking on a platform like Handshake. Handshake, like all of these platforms, makes it really easy for you to go from looking for jobs and internships to talking to people. So you can see here, I went in there and I was looking for an internship in environmental health, and I found one. This is old, by the way. It's not a current internship, but it's just an example. I found an internship at a company called Ramball. That's an international environmental consulting firm that's based in Denmark, but they have offices here in Seattle and all over the world. And I saw that they had an internship posted in environmental health. And if you see down here on your screen, there's this little purple Talk to Peers button. Handshake makes it really easy for you to talk to people who've had internships at this company or who may work there or who used to work there. And they'll show you that list of people, and then they'll even help you begin to sort of autofill an email to them that you would send through their platform. Handshake's trying to make it really easy for you to communicate with them using their platform, because that's what's going to get you coming back to use their platform more. That's their business model. And you should certainly feel comfortable reaching out to people through this platform, as well as all the platforms that we're going to talk about today. But one important note that I would encourage you to consider is that some people don't use these platforms very actively. They have a profile, which they use primarily for looking for people or jobs when they're looking, but they might not be on there every day. And so if you reach out to somebody through one of these platforms and they don't get back to you, it doesn't mean that they don't want to talk to you necessarily. It might just mean that they don't check their messages or they have their notifications turned off for this particular app. And so you might also want to consider trying to find them through other platforms, which oftentimes is quite easy to do. I'll leave that up to you and your sleuthing. Suffice it to say that Handshake makes it really easy for you to try to find people on their platform. Another way to approach this through that same platform is that on Handshake, just like on LinkedIn and on other job platforms like Indeed, people have their individual profiles, but also companies and agencies and organizations have their own profiles. And so if you want to learn more about this particular consulting firm in Handshake, you can go to Ramble's page, and it will show you students who've worked there currently, students who used to work there, and you can filter that list just to find people who go to your university simply by checking a box right here, University of Washington, Seattle, Bothell only. And that's a great way to filter, because it's going to get students with whom you already have some natural affinity because you share the same university. And that should hopefully, theoretically, increase the chances that they're going to get back to you. And with that, I'll turn it over to Darren to talk more about Husky Landing.
Hi, thank you. So Husky Landing is a resource that's developed by the University of Washington Alumni Association as a way to have our alumni pool of individuals be able to give back to current students, as well as be able to network with each other. So they are willingly joining this platform to be a resource for you and for others. And so there are people from many industries who have signed up, all have the UW background from all different departments and programs and graduate or undergraduate level, and they're here to connect with you. So this is a software platform that you can use at any time to go in and scroll for like connections for people who you might want to talk with. And you could do several ways of going about doing this. You could explore the platform around different career fields or subfields and say, hey, I want to look in to see what somebody who works in healthcare administration looks like. What's their job look like? What's the salary range for a person who works in healthcare administration? What's for public health epidemiologist? What are some of the roles that person has? What are the types of work that person does? And you'll see as you're looking at that profile, there are people that they link to that description at the bottom that are alumni that are doing those roles already, or are working for organizations in which those roles exist, and they're available to be reached out to set up a conversation or exchange email or to connect with. So it's a very rich resource. It's getting better, and as we in the School of Public Health refer alumni there, it'll get even more richer. And as you begin to use it, and you're not limited to just to talk to to talk to alumni from the School of Public Health. There might be folks who graduated from the Evans School who work for the Gates Foundation, and you might be able to talk with them. You can talk with them as well. It's not restricted. Also, there are job postings there as well. And so in those job postings, they have the organizations, they will have also people who are working there currently who will have experience there, so that you can reach out to them and say, hey, what's it like to work there? What are the things that you would think that I should emphasize in this is the type of position I'm going for. What do you think I should emphasize in my resume or in the cover letter? And what are some tips and and how I should present myself? You can ask all kinds of questions of that person, and see if you might get a connection that way to help build your sort of understanding of where it is you want to go, or move you along in your career path. Next slide. So here's an example of all of the folks. You see a listing of the different profiles you have, and then you could scroll down or click on the fact that this person works as a program manager in environmental health and safety at T-Mobile. And would you have gone to T-Mobile first to think about environmental health and safety? Maybe not, but here's a way that you can kind of expand your idea of where might possibilities be for you to work. And so this is a great tool if you're able to use it to do some exploration. And there's no obligation to reach out to anybody. You could just use it just to kind of get a sense of what's out there. You can see our dean is a part of it, and so you can reach out to Hillary Godwin and speak with her, and Susan Inman, who used to work here at the nutrition and nutritional sciences program. But there are many people who've gone to who are connected to the UW. Next. And then finally, for me, I wanted to talk about Huskies at Work, which is like a one-time, low stakes, really an opportunity for you to be matched with an alumnus for a one-time meeting in the winter quarter, where you apply through the Career Center and you tell them what you're interested in, and they get recruits from the UW Alumni Association, and they say, okay, we can match this person. They connect you to that person, and then you could make an online or in-person meeting with that person just to talk to them about what it is you're doing in school, and what are the things you're interested in, and what advice they might provide to you. And so it's a good way, and I think you should take advantage of this too. So go on the Career Center's website now and sign up for this, because you shouldn't miss this opportunity. Take advantage of everything. It's not a huge commitment, and I think you might make actually a lifelong connection if it's somebody that you really feel like you connect with around your career interests, and who wants to continue to be helpful to you. But the only obligation is you just meet once. Next.
Thanks, great, Darren. Thank you. And my slide is about LinkedIn. So as Darren and Dan talked about, Handshake and Husky Landing, a lot of those platforms kind of follow a similar format to LinkedIn. And these are 4 LinkedIn groups that I wanted to highlight to share with y'all. We have one for the School of Public Health. We have another group for the School of Public Health Students and Alumni Networking Group to connect with alumni that way. And then we also have the general UW alumni group on LinkedIn, as well as just the University of Washington LinkedIn page that you can also follow. And then you can see on each group profile, there's it also shows the number of followers for each one. You can also see and connect with more people on LinkedIn in a wider range of opportunities and experiences. Next slide, please. Thanks, Dan. And so this slide, I just wanted to highlight the University of Washington one, because you can filter that one specifically for public health, as shown in the second screenshot. And it shows like different categories that you can filter by, such as where they work. So a lot of our alumni work at the University of Washington. Go Huskies, just like me. And some of them work at Seattle Children's or the Washington State Department of Health. And then similar to Handshake and Husky Landing, there's a list of profiles that you can click on when you click on the alumni tab in public health. And then you can also show that you're open to work, such as Zoe Whitten on the screenshot here, to let employers know, and also people that you're networking on LinkedIn know that you're open to work and can reach out to you for those opportunities as well. And this last slide about LinkedIn is a LinkedIn profile checklist. This handout is from the Career and Internship Center at UW, and it's a great guide to what to include in your LinkedIn, like an updated photo, what you can include in your headline to insert those values, and what kind of opportunities that you are more interested in. A summary that can also be a place where you add a little bit more about those transferable skills that you want to develop more in your experiences in education, your volunteer experience, internships. You can also highlight your school projects or capstone or thesis materials there, as well as highlighting the organizations that you follow on LinkedIn. And then right here, we also have the Iris booth for getting professional headshots at the Career and Internship Center in Mary Gates Hall, 134. Dan, would you like to also share more about that?
Sure, just that if you need some help getting a professional looking headshot, you can drop by the Career Center in Mary Gates Hall, and they have a booth that you can go to where it'll take a whole bunch of pictures for you, and you can touch them up right there, and then it will send them to you in an email. And that's a great way to make sure that you have a really good headshot that's a recent photograph of you that kind of projects your confidence out into the world. It'll be really important for you to have a really tuned up profile as you begin to go out and want to talk to people, so that they have a good sense of who you are as well as what you are interested in talking with them about.
And this slide is to reiterate well, the things that we have shared and what you hopefully have learned in this webinar. Just wanted to reiterate that you already have a network that you are able to start off on, and building upon the activity that Darren presented earlier with thinking of your network and how to expand it with the online platform opportunities that we shared, and also being at UW, like Darren and Dan have also said, just reusing, using these resources that you have available to you. And additionally, you can also network and expand with alumni within your own department or program that you are in. For example, the Public Health Global Health major has the Public Health Global Health Alumni Council with this mission of building community and network of alumni and current students in our major. So also talking to your advisors about how to connect with alumni that way through your program.
So what should you do to follow up and stay in touch? I think it's really one of the most important things to keep a network going. You beyond a one-time meeting is really to first of all, to send a thank you note to that person and to say something about that meeting that was meaningful for you, or something that you want to thank them for following for any resources they shared with you that you were going to follow up on. I think that's really important. You can do by email, you can do by card, whichever you feel is easiest for you, and how whatever your style is, you feel free to do that. You want to keep in touch with that person, right? Occasionally send them an update, especially if you've followed up on another connection with where you used their name and that person met with you and you had a really great experience. You want to say thank you so much. I just wanted to let you know you introduced me to Giselle, and I went and met with her, and she was amazing, and she gave me all of this help, and now I'm going to be going and doing I'm going to be meeting a couple more people with the organization, and I just can't thank you enough. And it's really important because you've started to invest people in your success, and I think you can continue to reach out to them. And if you have more questions, if things come up, you're like, this is really confusing to me. I was reading about something about this industry, and I wonder what your thoughts about it, and see if they have time to meet with you again, or just respond back and keep conversation going. But I think it's really important to follow up and stay in touch and build out this network. And I think one thing that was coming up for me during this thing is, like, I know some people have said to me, well, why would this person want to meet me? They've never talked to me before. they don't know who I am. And I just wanted to let you know that you don't have to be anybody else but yourself, that you are just what you need to be to meet with them. I think you can do some preparation work, like Dan suggested, to make your conversation more fruitful and meaningful. But I think really people that you're meeting in informational interviews really are you're just asking for them to talk about themselves, and they are the experts at doing that. They know exactly the kinds of experiences and that they have. And if they've agreed to meet with you, I think that it's just know that what they want is what they are there for you to ask questions, and it's totally 100% fine to ask them the kinds of questions about the kinds of things you're interested in, the things that connect you and them together. I wanted to give you a few things that are coming up, or to send you up to some other workshops and events that are coming up. A career and internship center workshops, where the main center is having 2 virtual workshops we want to let you know about, which is the October 30th. There's going to be a virtual resume writing basics. And then October 31st is a virtual cover letter writing workshop, and they take place from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. But you can also go on their website and look at other time slots for their in-person and future workshops. But always check out their resources. They're a great resource on campus to help you with some of the job search basics. We are going to follow up this year those workshops with a virtual resume clinic. We're going to give you the opportunity to meet one-on-one with a volunteer, faculty, staff, or alumnus who is going to provide another pair of eyes to look at your resume or CV and kind of give you some feedback. And so it's not going to be replacing anything like a career advisor's in more carefully considered evaluation or feedback, or your way your mentor would do it. But it is another person in the field who can then talk to you about what you're presenting yourself and how they see yourself with your resume or CV. We have an interview prep webinar that's coming up on Tuesday, November 28th, from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. And that's going to be with Dan Poux, Maggie Tarnawa, and myself. And so look for more information about that. And we're also, just to add to the mix, we're just confirming that November 2nd, which is 2 weeks from today, we're going to have a session on in-person and HRC 101 on a global career in health, which is going to be a panel of people working internationally. All right. Continue to expand your network. Check out the Public Health Networks page on the SPH Career website, where we list student organizations and public health organizations and networks and affinity groups. We want to encourage you to attend department school lectures and events and receptions. That's where the good stuff happens, where you meet people afterwards and who share your interests and kind of start to get to know people. Visit your faculty, your staff office hours, and continue to build up your network through informational interviews. Next slide. And that's the website for that. And with that, we have a evaluation we'd like you to fill out, and we'll take questions. We have a QR code, I think, on there. Did it appear there? If you want to do it through QR code, we're also putting the link in the chat. Yeah, there it goes. There, you want to use the QR code to do our quick evaluation. This helps us to get information to build our workshops and for the future. Questions, anybody? Those are our contact information. You can open your mics or text or put it in chat. Anyone? Or you could just continue to fill out yeah, we'll give you pause so you can fill out the evaluation. And feel free to open your mic at any time to ask a question or to type it in the chat box. Okay, I think I see one. When networking with people who don't already know you via email, reaching out about thesis opportunities for MPH students. How do you balance pitching yourself in a confident manner without saying too much or coming across as demanding? I find this difficult compared to speaking in person because there is no tone, facial expressions for remote networking.
I think to that point, Lexi, I think that's why I've always encouraged students, if they can, whatever possible, to meet with someone in person, because you're right, it's really not the same. And if you're really trying to build a relationship with someone who you don't know, that's going to be the most effective way to do it. But sometimes people are busy or they're cross country, and so meeting with them either via Zoom, I think is better than just doing the phone. To that point that you're making about the lack of feedback that you're getting. And then, of course, I think the least valuable would be to send somebody a bunch of questions and have them respond via email, because that's not really networking at all, although it is certainly information transfer. So your point is well taken. I think if you could just also just trust in the fact that, if you've done your homework and in your enthusiasm and your interest and your curiosity is coming through. Curiosity was the word that I added to the word cloud at the beginning, because I feel like if you're coming from a place of curiosity, that's going to help this whole experience feel more authentic, which I think is also sort of the problem. Darren and Dana Faye, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have a thought. I was thinking in this instance with email, I think it's time you could do a sort of a written elevator pitch. So I would keep it short. I would basically say that you were requesting a meeting and introduce yourself. Hi, I am Lexi, and I'm looking for thesis opportunities. I came across your email or came across your work because, and I was very through and reviewing your website, I saw that you're working in several areas in which I'm interested, including X and X. And I wonder if you have time to talk you would have 30 minutes to talk with me about your work and the possibilities of maybe if there are any thesis possibilities to work with you this quarter. So something like that could be short. And I think when people make mistakes is they think that they have to put it all out there at once. And I did this and I did this. And here's my thing I'm attaching 3 publications that I made, and where it goes along. And then a faculty member gets overwhelmed with that because they're already in an overwhelmed state. So they might want to get back to you and they never do. So I think it's important to first reach out with like that kind of elevator pitch, and like say with Dan suggested, and then have follow up with a Zoom meeting.
I also agree with what Darren and Dan said, and using that written elevator pitch also in putting it in like LinkedIn or Husky Landing or Handshake when connecting with people on there is also a great way to also use those like online platforms and start getting those conversations started too.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Great question.
Yeah. Anyone else? Well, we do hope we see you at future events and come in to visit our offices and say hello and make appointments with your career advisor or with an advisor. And if you need help, there are a lot of people out there who are looking out for you to help you make that next step, wherever it is, whether it's just exploring a field, looking for an internship, or doing an initial job search, or just asking for advice. Dan, and Dana Faye, did you want to add anything?
Well, I hope to see you at the upcoming webinar on interview prep on November 28th. I'll be collaborating with Darren again on that one, and another colleague, Maggie Tarnawara from Biostatistics, I believe. Is that right, Darren?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned for another RSVP tool that will be going out shortly about that workshop as well.
Thank you. We really appreciate everyone who came today. Take care. Have a good weekend. We can stay on. I'm going to turn off the